Chef, I remember when I was a kid,
Yes.
we have these comics about Dick Tracy, and he has a watch that has a TV, and
Yeah, yeah.
that was science fiction. That was science fiction.
And now it's for real.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dick Tracy.
Yep.
You and me, we passed through all over, Chef. And I remember my first, so I still remember, Chef, in my country, when from my mother's family, they were farmers.
Uh-huh.
So we had to communicate to the farm. So on the little town, they have these phones that with the operators, that goes with the cables.
Yeah.
And you talk on my auntie's house. It still has the phone on the wall.
Really? Yeah. Yes.
Not the one that is, but you pick the phone.
Yes.
And then hello, can you communicate me with the farm? And the lady, can you speak louder, please? And you have to scream on the phone.
Yeah, it was from the operator. Yes, that's crazy.
And my father was a doctor, and he has this super modern phone that it was a phone that was just one phone that it has the dial on the same thing,
Oh, yeah.
It was a big phone. It was so modern, his phone on the. And then when I was I already was a professional working in hotels. So I work in this remote area, and they give me a house that has no phones. And in that time in my country, there was no lines. So if you don't have a phone on your house, you don't have a phone, period. They cannot connect it because the signal was so little. So I have to ask for a remote phone, and they gave me a bag that was like a bag.
Yes.
With the phone, and I have to carry the bag with me.
Maybe
pounds or so. And I have a phone in my home, and it was
in a bag.
And it was so bad because that didn't work well. I have to put the antenna, and I have to go outside and try to find where the antenna would catch the. Then I have my first phone that was like almost like a walkie-talkie, Chef. You have to pull the antenna, to work.
Oh yes.
Jesus, and look,
and look, we've got so much. The technology nowadays is crazy.
And the phone was just a phone.
I know.
Nothing else.
Well, I remember when smartphones came out, like the first iPhone came out. My dad got one of the brand new, or one of the newest, or one of the iPhones. And I was like, and I told my dad, you lose your iPhone, you're going to lose your camera, you're going to lose all your music, you're going to lose all of it. That's ridiculous. Why do you want one thing to have all of that? And now I just couldn't live without my smartphone,
Yeah. And Chef, I was studying in Mexico, in the university in Mexico. And I bought my first Texas Instrument calculator, electronic calculator.
That was probably a couple of $100. That was a lot. That was expensive, I bet.
That was expensive. I needed it for the school, and there was like this size, Chef.
Yeah.
Have to put it on my back, and the numbers was like dots, red dots.
That's funny.
And I sent I used to, because I'm dyslexic and I'm very bad to writing.
Yes.
I used to record my letters and send the cassettes to my parents. So my mother has still a cassette that show it to my children and says,
Oh, no way! Now that's pretty cool. I like that. That's awesome.
And they have this recording that I'm so excited because I got this Texas Instrument, and it has memory and can and you can do all the abstractions and everything in this electronic thing that was amazing.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
And that was in the 70s.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yep.
So I was running then a big operation, and it was so bad I couldn't handle, and it was the numbers were always late, you know, and this. So I called. There's these organizations that from professionals that you can ask for, and they are, you know, retired professionals from United States and Canada, and you can ask for them, and they come for free. You have to give them, you know, housing and food. And
oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's interesting.
I talked to this organization, and I get this guy from Canada that was a retired owner of 6 restaurants.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he comes and to help us with the system. And at that time, we incorporated for the first time computers in the system. And of course, the computers, they have very little memories, you know. So we have floppies. So we have this all this
the floppy disk
amount of floppies that you have to put it and take it out, put it and take it out. But even with those much floppies, you know, it was amazing how improved our accounting. It was like day and night.
And do you remember? I mean, they were floppy. They were the real floppy ones.
The memory was 1.6 megabytes. That was the memory.
Is that right? I couldn't remember. That's crazy.
I was still using floppy disk in 4th grade.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
1.6 megabytes. That was all. That's the whole memory because.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah.
So I have a backup, Chef. Here, I have this little backup here.
Oh yes, yeah, your hard drive.
5 tetras, Chef.
Yeah. Oh,
5
wow.
tetras.
Wow. And then the floppy disk.
Are you kidding me? I don't know. I'm never gonna finish putting information.
Yeah, 5 terabytes. That's huge.
And it's just this little thing, you know. Who can imagine that much memory?
I know. Crazy.
So I have there, like, I'm not kidding, like 7,000 pictures of my trips and everything. Yes. And I have not even 10% of the memory.
Yeah, I bet.
How are you guys?
How's everybody?
Excellent. Thank you, Chef. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you so much. So, guys, for those of you who I've been checking your information that you sent me. There's a little problems here and there, and we're gonna review all that so you can recheck it, and we're gonna jump into the recipe cost. Even that there is already one student that he finished completely nicely that area. So, but for the rest, that we are a little slower, you know, we are going to, I'm gonna take it step by step so you can understand the whole process. And the system is already engaged and all the formulas are there. So you don't have to do too much, but I'm gonna explain that today so you can understand, okay? So Larry, you remember the floppy disks in your schools?
Yes, Chef. I remember having a whole like handful of them things and stuff just to store like various information.
Then they used to wear the first floppies with the first floppies come with also play games.
Oh yeah, that was crazy too.
And it was like a little dot that goes to the wall, you know. Beep, beep. It was like a little ping pong ball, you know, that goes from one side to another of the computer.
Yep, got it.
And I was with my children, and I have my first game. I'm not a game player, but that was amazing because it was like a fight against aliens, and it was like so well done. And that wasn't maybe in the 80s. And my children were completely into that. You know, the Mario Bros, they used to kill me on that. I was so bad on that.
On Nintendo?
Yes. And who played with Mario Bros?
Nintendo?
Yes. We're waiting for 2 more students and we start, Chef.
Okay, no problem, Chef. So, Lauren, you still have yours?
Yeah.
Okay, Chef, so it's okay for you if I start?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, guys. Can you see the screen, guys? Okay, great.
Yes, Chef, we can see it.
Guys, first of all, thanks everybody to come and work here. You know, it's hard, and this is kind of difficult for many people to get into the concepts and understand the whole process. Some of you that get it since the beginning, and I'm so proud, you know, and some others not. And I want to apologize for everybody, because what happened, guys, is as a teachers, I don't know if it happens to Chef K, but as a teachers, sometimes I just assume that you know things, you know, and I was for sure they know that, you know. And no, you don't. And then when I started watching the job that you're doing, and I discovered, oh, I missed that. I should talk about that. So this is one of those days that I'm going to talk about things that I think what was missing in my lectures. And I really apologize, because I think it was needing a little better explanation and some things that I put you to work. So it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just because that's what happened when you've been teaching and teaching and teaching the same thing and the same thing. And for so many years, sometimes you have to put attention to this thing. So there you are. So we're going to talk about that today, and I hope you understand. So please, guys, don't hesitate if you don't understand something, you know, just go and get it, and we're going to work with you and be sure that you just understand the process and you're happy with the results at the end. So Chef Cleve and myself, you know, we have all the patience in the world to work with you guys, no problem. So you have to say something, Chef?
Yes, I completely agree with with everything that you were saying. We do sometimes forget stuff, but you know, Pablo, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef. So guys, we're gonna keep working on the menu pricing and the recipes. So I'm gonna go again a little bit, and I'm gonna put some concepts in front of you. So I hope you have a better understanding of how the process of these things is coming. So yesterday we were doing the process of recipe, standardized recipes. So remember guys, so when we're trying to run a restaurant, you know, it's a restaurant, guys. It's a completely other animals, you know, that cooking at home, isn't it? So when you cook at home, you have all the time. You go to the internet, maybe you get a recipes, and then go at home, try it, do it. You have all the time in the world, you know, to do the things, you know. But when you cook in professional kitchens, it's completely different environment. So what happened in the kitchen is this is a business that we have to make money, and we were also keeping you trying to make you understand that this is a very hard business because the profits are very short here in this business because you know our expenses are big, so we have food costs represent a big bunch of the incomes that the guests given, you know. So for every dollar that it comes to the restaurant, 30%, 30 cents go to food costs normally. And it can go even more than 30%. And then you have labor hand, and labor hand can be around also 30% also, between 30% and 35%. That is just labor cost. So from a dollar that is coming from sales, almost 65% go just in labor hand and food cost. And then what happened with the rest, you know, maybe you have to pay rent, isn't it? Then you invest in equipments and kitchen equipments and restaurant or whatever it is, food truck and everything. That's a tons of money that you have to recover, isn't it? So you calculate maybe to pay that in 10 years, in 5 years. So all that invest you divided by the numbers of months, isn't it? And that represents money that you have to put it back. And then you have electricity and gas and all these things. And then you have to pay insurance, and then you have to pay permits, isn't it? And a part of that, you have to pay for a accounting, you know, and all these extra things that maybe you need to pay for. And all that is taking maybe, you know, you have to be very close. You cannot go too much of a 20% because otherwise you don't get nothing. So if you finish between 6 and 10% of profit from a dollar, 10 cents of a dollar, that will be awesome. So what this means, guys, this means that it's so tight, this business, that the only way to success is create a systems of standardized procedures and controls, isn't it? So we can have the whole operation since the beginning to the end completely under control. What happens if we in some point there's a little mistake, we can detect it and fix it. That's the idea, isn't it? And we can have that as an example of how we can do. It means a lot of work, guys. Let me tell you, when you open a restaurant, before you open, there is a tons and tons of work. Don't you think, Chef?
Yes, a lot of work. You have to do, I mean, there is a lot of work.
Yes. And then you have to put to operate. And when you start operating, guys, yeah, the tickets are going to start coming and the people should know what to do, isn't it? So it has to be a previous process of training and understanding, you know, into this system of standardized systems that we put it all over there in order to have a consistent service to us customers, you know, and a consistent experience with our customers. So there you are. So it's all about this This consistency is all about standards, and that's the way to do it. And you know, like, let me tell you, the fast food operators, they are excellent in doing that. If you see, they charge very little for food. On the other side, you know, the only way that they can make money is by selling volumes, and that's a way to control everything. So with the experience that they have on the fast food industry, the rest of the industry take that to introduce in the restaurant. So it can get tougher and tougher and more understandable and controlling. So that's something that it happens, you know, and this is something that experienced chefs even today, they don't understand very well. And there's the cost of a lot of failings in this restaurant, you know. So we need to have a plan when we do that. It's very important to have a plan, a well-planning operation that start with this that we've been talking in the first and second week, isn't it? We need to have an understanding of who are our customers. We already talked about that. Who are our customers? And when we know who customers we are, then we apply all these ideas that we have and we design the product for that customer. So I still was reading your statements, guys, and you were thinking that the customers will come to your business because you have a good idea. That's not gonna happen. So guys, when we're trying to build a restaurant, there is 3 basic pillars or foundations, isn't it? We need to have high quality food. So we have to research on ingredients and we have to that, and all that has to be delivered in a good customer service. That's the second, isn't it? And second, we have to have a competitive and attractive price. If we don't have good prices, isn't it? Nobody's gonna come. And it has to be, we have to be careful that we don't undercharge because we lose. Overcharge, we lose customers. So it's a balance that we want to keep it over there to be sure that that is thinking. So high quality food, high quality service, and competitive prices. That's something that is very, very important in our business. So we have to research our competition, isn't it? What the competition is doing, what kind of products they have, how they package, how they offer this product, how they develop, and then how we compete against them, you know? Can we compete in quality? Can we compete with the status? What we compete with fashion, or what we compete with price? So there is always different ways that we can approach to compete with our customers that makes our product a little more, I would say, attractive for our customers. And then you have to make presence, you know, you have to develop a whole marketing plan. And that marketing plan has many strategies to go there, you know. Maybe you have to print some advertising, and you want to have advertising in the radio, so you have to make some spots for that. Maybe magazines or newspapers, you know, or brochures or flyers or whatever you want to do it to make you know that you're there, isn't it? And then you need to have electronic presence through multimedia, isn't it? So you need to do a lot of networking, and you need to have a site. So you need to build your brand, and you need to have presence in Facebook. You need to have presence in Twitter, and all these things that makes your brand have presence in the market, isn't it? And you have to offer it in an attractive way. So all these things, it's gonna make, you know, what is this, who is this? And I wanna go there. So if you have an interesting offer, you know, people will come. And then you have to do a lot of public relations. So a part of that, you have to do, you know, presence on TV, maybe do recipes, you know, invite people to show, you know, like one day I have this hotel that was almost empty, and And nobody comes because it was very far away. So what we do, we bring the president to that place to stay for one weekend. As soon as the president comes from one weekend, then everybody wants to come, and everybody start coming because, hey, if the president was there, come on, it must be good. So that's something that is just to give you an idea as how you can put your brand in front of you. And then, training your staff is very important, since the beginning. You have to do initial training and then periodical training. All the time you have to want to be sure that you give that experience to your guests. And then you have to monitor them. How they doing? Are they doing well? How our customers are reacting with the service that we're doing, and how our food is prepared and presented and all that. We can follow step by step and be sure that we can give to our guests the best experience that we can. So all these guys is time consuming. It's time consuming. And people are today, they want to do it faster, they want to do it good, and they jump these things. And at the end, the result is 75% of the business close the first years. So a big failure, isn't it? Just because don't put attention to this hard work that is the initial operations. So I don't want to say, oh, this is an impossible thing, guys, you shouldn't do it. You should do it, but you have to take enough time to be sure that when you get out, you are well prepared. That's a key thing on to open a business, guy. No matter if it's a food truck, no matter if you are going to sell a product on the farmer's market or whatever. The moment that you decided to get out, you have to know what are you doing, how much are you expending, how much are your costs, how much are you gonna get for every item that you're selling. You need to have your operation and control. So what is the big reason for failure, guys? Lack of planning. That's it. Before you even make a dinner for the customers, there's a lot of time that we spend figuring out how to run the restaurants. From construction, the equipment that is needed, the menu planning, the pricing that is so important, the hiring of the staff, the training, they develop these marketing strategies, and all this planning that go to be sure that we have everything under control and structures of procedures already set for our business. So it's good to have the dream, guys, which is the first things that you need to have, a dream to do something, But the most important thing is a part of the dream, you need to have enough stamina to pass through this painful process that is, develop all these system of control so it can help you to manage your operations. Any question, guys? So we've been passing through these processes, isn't it? So guys, the heart of a restaurant is the menu. I've been talking about that, isn't it? It's the central system, it's the core of the whole business. So it's not just get some dishes, that you find in the internet and put it together. It's not just like that, isn't it? It just, you need to put a lot of thoughts on how to develop a menu. And it's a process, isn't it? So first of all, guys, the menu is designed for our customers. And we're talking about that a lot, isn't it? So the menu is not designed for recipes that the chefs like. The menu is not the recipes that the owners likes. The menu is not with recipes that my wife's like. The menu is not the recipes, oh, my grandmother cooked this amazing recipe and I'm gonna put it over there. No, it's not about that. It's about the business. It's about the target market. And that's the first thing that we do, trying to identify our target market, isn't it? With our target market in our hands, then we develop our first thing is we start develop our recipes, isn't it? So that's the process. So how you do that? You go to the internet, you go through that, and you start finding what these people like, and they start getting the recipes. So you have a bunch of recipes that you're gonna start putting over there, and then you start making those recipes. So sometimes those processes we do it at home, or we hire a kitchen, a commercial kitchen, and things like that, and we do it just before we start with the restaurant, isn't it? Yeah. And what we want to be sure that when we do the standard recipes, guys, put attention to this. Are you putting attention to me, guys? Can you show you and can you show yourselves on the screen so we know that you're there?
Nice, thank you.
Thank you, guys. So put attention to this, guys. There's 3 elements that we measure recipes in general, isn't it? By volume, by weight, and by units. So what do we measure by volume? Liquids. Stocks, oils, wines, anything that is liquid. That we measure by volume. Make sense? So, and then what we measure by weight. So by volume will be, guys, gallons, quarts, pints, cups, fluid ounces. That's a measure of doing this, isn't it? And this is measured by volume. And then you have also a small measure by volumes that will be teaspoons and tablespoons. That's a measure by volume. So here in America, we measure by volume some things, you know, like flours. And then you go to a recipe and they tell you, you know, a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda. So what you have on that kind of system is a completely inaccurate system, isn't it? Because not all the teaspoons are weighing the same, you know, volume, just to tell you. And then flour, it doesn't weigh in volume the same as sugar, as example. So a cup of flour can be 4.5 ounces, can be 5 ounces, can be 4 ounces. How much you pack it into the cup, it will measure different. So your recipe is not gonna come good because you pack it too much of the flour and things like that, isn't it? So it's not a good idea to try to measure that you can weight it, put it in volume. There you are. So that's why the recipes that you make at home, sometimes it comes good, sometimes it not, because you pack it a little more and less. So we don't want that to happen in the industry, isn't it? We want accurate measure when we do our recipes. So when we have to make dry things, you know, like flour, sugars, and things like that, butter and things like that, we measure by weight here in America. And that will be pounds or ounces. But we have a problem here also in America. Ounces is the minimum measure for ourselves, isn't it? 1 ounce. An ounce is kind of a big amount, but if you have to measure less than 1 ounce, then we have a problem. And because we have a problem, we start using the spoons and tablespoons, isn't it, Chef, instead of
Yes.
just measuring. And that gives to this inaccurate way to do it. So if you try to be more accurate, you have to do 1/2 an ounce, 1/4 of an ounce, 1/8 of an ounce, 1/12 of an ounce. And that's kind of a nightmare to do it over there, isn't it? So in many kitchens today, guys, what we do is we jump to the metric system. It's easy to measure the recipes in grams and kilograms. So that transition is doing for many, many chefs in the world, and this is very simple to do. So, but here, I'm not gonna tell you that do it in the metric system. We're gonna use the US system, but guys, you have to refer to 1/2 an ounce, 1/4 of an ounce, or 1/8 of an ounce when you do dry things on your schedule. So when you buy, guys, things, example, I'm gonna buy let's see, chocolate chips. Do I go to chocolate chips to HEB and they weigh it by cups, or they sell you by pounds? That's my question, guys.
I think usually the packages have like how much ounces they are in pounds.
Isn't it? So they sell you by ounces. If you go and you want to buy, let's see, potatoes, are they going to sell you by what kind of weight? By pounds, isn't it? That's what they go. You go, they sell you by pounds. So when you have to do recipes, you cannot put a cup of potatoes because you are buying the potatoes by pounds. You should measure your potatoes by pounds in your recipe, or pounds or ounces, because there's gonna be easy way to transfer it when you have to cost your recipes. So we're gonna start talking a little more over there. So when you start doing your recipes, guys, put attention to that, you know. How are you gonna use your ingredients? So you have this idea, I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna put that. But in real fact, guys, when you start putting this, what we call this mix of ingredients in a menu, isn't it? This and that, I'm gonna put it. How is gonna move in your kitchen? You want to be sure that if I have fryers and fires and grills, the fires and grills and all works at the same time. I don't want to have, you know, all coming to a grill because you have very little into the as example, the flat griddle. And you buy the flat griddle and the flat griddle is doing nothing, and you have an invest that is completely done because you really don't think about that when you are doing your menu. So when we do the menu, we want to be sure, and then you have another equipment that is completely packed, and maybe it's making, you know, a bottleneck, and then it's a delay because you really didn't plan it very well your items that you're selling because you are using just one part of your equipment. So you have to think about that isn't it? How is this going to move? Another thing, you know, if I have ingredients that I'm going to use and they are expensive, I want to put it in 2 or 3 recipes. So if not selling in one side, I'm going to sell it in another way, but I will sell it. So I want to be sure that those ingredients are going to come out, is not become a loss in my restaurant. So all these things are thoughts that you have to put it when you design a menu. So I saw many, you are rushing, you know, and going and just put things over there, and I'm going to do this and that, and just going that. But hey, you have to put attention to these details, guys. And if you want to do the exercise and you want to really get into that, put attention to all these things. And then you have to be sure, you know, the cost is okay. It's too high. If it's too high, it's maybe doesn't worth it because nobody's going to pay for that. You know, the staff will be able to do that complicated thing. How long is going to take? You know what I mean? Let's see, if I says, I have to make tamales, put it an example. Somebody's raising hand.
What, Chef?
Somebody was raising his hand, Chef.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Who was it? Please speak.
Go ahead. I think it might have been an old hand raise.
So, complicated things are also hard to do it. If you have to make tamales, how long it takes to make it, how much people you need to do that. And then you have all the tamales that are already done. How are you gonna sell it? So all these complicated things, you have to think about it, isn't it? I don't say that it's not impossible, but put attention, because there are recipes that takes a lot of time, don't you think, Chef? So let me put it this way. This tool that we're making these days, which is the food costing tool, the food costing sheet, is like a hard monitor of your business. Yeah? That's the central part of the business. So it's like the doctor when they go and check your heart, isn't it? They go, we put the things on the air, check your heart, and they're gonna check, you know, how it's, if you have high blood pressure or low blood pressure and all that, isn't it? So with that, say that food costs we have to maintain on the standards, and it let us know how are we doing. Are we too up for the cost? It's like high blood pressure, isn't it? That means we are losing money. We have to fix it. You have to get into a diet, my friend, and cut your calories, otherwise you're gonna die, isn't it? So the same happened on the business. You have to cut these expenses and be sure that you put your business into the track, and you have to figure out what is happening, isn't it? So, or if you have lower, isn't it? So that's also another symptom that is not, maybe the price is not correct. You have too little prices and you sell a lot, but you're losing money, isn't it? So there you are. So that's another thing that you need to boost it. Is not the correct way to do it. So you have to be awareness of this process of the costing of your recipes, and you have to analyze very well how it's going to happen and how the impact is going to have in your operation. So how much the people are paying, you have to put attention, isn't it? That's something that you have to put attention. So guys, there's three important things when we do our food costings. One, the price. Important, isn't it? Establish the price. Second, the recipe mix. That means, you know, the different items that we're gonna put it on the menu, how they are going to move. So I want less dogs and more stars, isn't it? Guys, what is a dog and what is a star? Sean.
Dogs are menu items that don't sell very well and they don't make you very much money, where stars are the menu items that you get high profitability and is very popular.
Yes, exactly. And that's what you want to have. You want to have a good mix of those things, isn't it? And then you have to track it. You have to put attention on your sales to be sure how it's moving, because remember, a menu is an alive element, isn't it? It's not something that you write on marble, isn't it, on the rock, and that's going to stay there forever. If something is not working, you have to change it immediately. So it's something that is moved. So when we start restaurants, guys, we always start with menus that are temporary menus. That's the best and more, I would say, safety way to open restaurants. Don't you think, Chef?
Yes, Chef. I agree.
So at the end, guys, the menu pricing is the responsibility of the owner, isn't it? It makes sense? It's like the wineries. Have you ever worked in a winery, guys? Nobody? So this is the thing. The winery is a life enterprise, isn't it? If you decided to become a winemaker, it's your life. You're gonna be dedicated the rest of your life to that. Basically, that's how it is. So, and when you start growing your grapes, the grapes has a status of from the florations until the clusters start coming, you know, until the grapes get to full maturated. And then when they get to full maturated, they go down, the sugars on the grapes, and they start deteriorating. So when they get to the peak of the maturation is when you have to recollect it, the grapes. Easy to say, isn't it, when you have 10 acres to recollect. So how long is it going to take to recollect 10 acres of grapes, and when you're going to start to recollect and when you're going to finish take times. And that process of time is going to over-maturate it or under-maturate it some areas, isn't it? So there you are. That decision when to start harvesting is the only decision that the owner is going to take. Nobody, no the winemakers, the engineers that are working, nobody's going to get that decision except the owner, because he has to get full responsibility of that. The same happened here. When we have to put the prices, the prices is completely responsibility at the end of the owner, isn't it? What are these strategies going to be there? Because the price that you put is going to affect how the future of your business. It makes sense?
Yes, chef.
That's how important it is, isn't it? So that mix of elements that you put it in that, how you put the dishes, and then I'm gonna put this dish here, and then I'm gonna put this below, and I'm gonna divide it in these groups. All that has to be very, very well thought. So it makes you move your menu in a way that is competitive and the way that you make money. So strategy is like a monopoly, isn't it? This is something that is a strategy. How you make your menu is a strategy. It's something that you have to put a lot of thought, a lot of theory, isn't it? A lot of this, what we call menu engineering, a lot of this way that we induce our guests to go to this part or this other part on the menu. We know what's the sweet spot. We know the real estate is our menu, isn't it? How it works, how it moves, what are we gonna put here and there. The way that we write their menu, that's also gonna help to move the recipes. The order that we put the dishes, that's gonna also do all these things. So put attention to that, yes. And there is some popular dishes, and then what's gonna put it behind that popular dish that we wanna move it, or very expensive dish, and then we wanna move another on the back that we want to move it. All these things, So this is a full evaluation of these things. So how it moves at the end, guys, we want to be sure that at the end, all this money that is coming, and we count it at the end of the day and the month, we counted how much we spent on food. That has to be a percentage, isn't it? So from every dollar that we receive from our business, 30% should be the food cost. That is the result, isn't it, that we're doing. And that's a number that we normally follow in the business, but it depends on the business. Maybe a food truck, the costs are not gonna be the same. Maybe your cost is gonna be, your food cost can be a little higher, while your staffing maybe is gonna be a little lower, but at the end, that's what matters. How much you wanna put in your pocket at the end of the month, don't you think, Jeff?
Yes, chef, I agree.
So to calculating the food cost, guys, the there's some parameters, guys, that is important to understand. So, what is the profitability the profits from this business? I will say, guys, between 6% and 12%. So you have these six numbers. That is a lot, isn't it? But if you sell this, let's see, if you say $100,000, 1% is a lot, isn't it? It's $1,000. So put attention to that because you want to keep that in track. So a slighter change, you know, it's like a little change on the price. It could represent an increase of your profits, guys. So put attention to that. So we have to be sure how much we use the numbers, isn't it? If we put just straight number, like I said, you know, $14, or if we put $14.50, how it's gonna see our customers? It's gonna still see in $14. If we put $14.90, it's gonna still watching like the $14. So we can go and play and says, okay, if I put $14.95, the appreciation of the guest is that it's still 14. Don't you think, Sharon?
Yes, chef. Still 14.
So instead of put 14, I can go and put $14.95, and the guest is still thinking that it's 14. So this little 95 cents is a lot for the business, and there's not too much sense on the customers. It makes sense what I'm talking? So you have to put attention to these little details because we make this business by counting pennies. We don't count dollars. This is a business of counting pennies, guys. So before we move to the next thing, you know, there's a few things that you need to understand, guys. One is what we call recipe cost, isn't it? What is the recipe cost? Is the cost of the ingredients in a plate. So we have to put attention to this, guys, because it's not to just put the cost of the ingredients on the plate, but the real cost of the ingredients, isn't it? And that's we call as purchase. It's not the same as eatable portions, isn't it? So we want to be sure that the real cost go there. If I have to process and manipulate on that manipulation of the item, it's gonna lost. That loss, it has to be absorbed by the cost of the portion. Do you understand the concept, guys?
Yes.
Yes, chef.
Good. So then we have the recipe sales price. The recipe sales price is the price that we're going to put, you know, and that's what the price that the customer is going to pay for that. And we have to be careful. So I will show you today the formula is automatically it's going to give you the price, but that not necessarily means that is going to be the price, isn't it? But it's a reference. And then we have what we call ideal food cost. Ideal food cost is the cost of the total sales. The ideal cost of the total sales, like we says, 30% is our ideal cost. That means when we sell 30%, it should represent the cost of the ingredients. It makes sense? But that doesn't mean that every recipe is gonna cost 30%. Why? If I have a salad that costs me 95 cents, you know, I can apply that salad, you know, and put it higher prices instead of just multiply for 3.35%, I can put it more prices. So a salad, I can sell it maybe for $5, isn't it? So I can get more revenue, more profits from a salad, isn't it? That I can get from a lobster. If the lobster I pay for, you know, let's see, if I pay for a lobster a lot of money, they cannot sell too much, you know, there's a limit from a lobster. If the lobster cost me $15, maybe, you know, the customers are not gonna pay $50 for the price. They're not gonna pay it. So maybe I have to lower that system. Isn't it? Maybe the cost of the lobster is gonna be 40%, not 30%. But the cost of the salad is gonna be 20%, not 30%. But at the end, the result of all what is moving in the menu, it should give me to the number which is 30%. That's the idea. So the actual food cost is the actual cost, the real cost that we have, isn't it? So we have the food cost, and we check through the inventory, and we know exactly how this is moving, and we know exactly if we are under our cost, over our cost, and how it's going on, isn't it? That is if we are losing and we are doing well. And then we have the actual food cost per serving, so we can calculate there and say, you know, okay, how much is our cost per serving? And we say, okay, his right now is 29. That's excellent. Or we can say right now is 35%. So that's something that is a red flag over there that we have to put attention, isn't it? So we are losing money. So all these concepts help to understand. Remember, guys, when we start making a recipe, standard recipes, the way to measure is by volume, by weights, or by units. I'm gonna go again on that. So measure by volume. So what can we measure by volume, James?
We can measure like spices by volume, I think.
I think if you do it at home, it will be good. I mean. If you do it professional, that will be very bad. What do you think, Sean? What should be measured by volume?
Like liquids, like milk,
yes,
orange juice, stuff like that.
Yes, yes. So that we should measure by volume, liquids. So what do we measure by volume? You know, quarts, pints, gallons, quarts, pints, cups, fluid ounces, tablespoons, teaspoons. That's measured by volume. So 1 gallon has 4 quarts. 1 quart has 2 pints. A pint has 2 cups. A cup has 8 fluid ounces. And a fluid ounces has 2 tablespoons. And a tablespoon is 3. We can measure volume on that. But it's very hard to make dry elements measuring by volume. Again, why? Just flour, guys. If it says 1 cup of flour, if the flour is too much packet, maybe it's gonna weigh 5 ounces. If it's lightly packet, it's gonna get 4.5 ounces. So it depends on the size of the cup. Not all weight are the same exactly weight. So you're not gonna have, you're never gonna have an accurate measure. And if you don't have an accurate measure, your recipe is not gonna have consistency. It makes sense, guys? So a teaspoon of on bread, when we make bread, it says a teaspoon of salt. We don't do teaspoon of salt when we make bread. We make the system of grams. They tell you, 11 grams. And we go and measure on the scale, and it says 11 grams, and we go exactly measure. Every time that you make the bread, it will weigh the same. So when we have to do, guys, this is a gallon here. A gallon has 4 quarts. A quart has 2 pints. A pint has 2 cups. A cup has 8 ounces. So a gallon has 4 quarts, 8 pints, 16 cups, 128 ounces. A quart has 2 pints, 4 cups, 32 ounces, liquid ounces. A pint has 2 cups or 16 liquid ounces. 1 cup has 8 liquid ounces. Half a cup has 4. It has 2 ounces, or 4 tablespoons, or 12 teaspoons. 1 tablespoon is equal to 3 teaspoons, depends on what you measure. So we're trying to use this just for liquid, guys, not for dry ingredients. So I was watching your recipes standards, guys, and I saw that many of you were using volume, measure of volumes to dry ingredients. So you have to get back to your recipes and fix it, and be sure that if you want to do measure by weight, the only measure that you can weight here in America is by pounds or by ounces. If it's less than an ounce, will be half of an ounce, a quarter of an ounce, or an eighth of an ounce.
Hey, Chef, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I know that we use like our weight for butter, but if we melt the butter, do we switch to volume or do we still use the weight?
If you melt the butter, yes, you can make by volume. If you weight it, if you melt it, yes. So, guys, and then we have measured by units, isn't it? So if I buy oranges by units, yes, I have to put by units, isn't it? But if I buy bananas by weight, I have to put in the recipes bananas by weight. If I have eggs by units, I can put my recipe by egg by units. Even that I know that there's, to be more accurate on the recipes of eggs, especially when we do that, we weight the eggs. Any question, guys? When you make your recipe, when you start making your recipes, guys, be sure that you include in every ingredient, not the sauces, the seasoning, the garnish. Everything has to be included over there. When you calculate the recipe cost, guys, we're gonna jump into the recipe cost and I will show you. You calculate it. If you're gonna use, it says a tomato, and you get 8 slices for every tomato, and the tomato, you know, costs 40 cents. So you can divide it 40 cents by 8. So every slice of tomato will cost 5 cents. That's how we calculate. So, guys, be sure that you use the system, use it by when we buy the ingredients. So, you have the ingredients in your master list that I give you, okay? So you're gonna use all that master list to measure that. If there is an ingredient that you don't find on that, you have to get into Walmart system and try to get the price over there. So guys, then we put every item with the price, isn't it? By unit, by weight, or by volume. You don't include labor cost, isn't it? We just put it over there. And then we add it all, and the total, it will be the cost of your recipe, basically, isn't it? So put attention, guys. Don't use unit of measure by volume to calculate cost by weight. Did you understand that part, guys? Hands up, please.
Yeah, got thumbs up.
Okay. Guys, you have to put attention to reflect the real cost of each ingredient. If the ingredient during the manipulation and preparation suffer loss on the weight, that loss needs to be absorbed by the cost of the ingredients ready to be used. It makes sense? Example, if I go and I buy, let's see, I buy a sirloin steak at $12.99 the pound, and the piece is 5 pounds, I bought that steak at $64.95. That's what it cost me. And then I get it into the kitchen and I prepare. And when I finish, that sirloin steak just only give me 4 pounds. I finished with 4 pounds. So the real price is not $12.99. What you have to do is get the $64.95 that cost the piece divided by the 4 pounds. And that's the real cost. It will be $16.24 pounds. That's the real cost that you're going to put it in your recipe cost. That calls eatable portion. Or ready to use portion. Did you get the concept, guys?
Yes, chef.
So at the end, you have all the pricings on the front, and we have to start working in our menu, guys. That will be the next step. So after this, that we're working today on the cost, we're going to start working in our menu to put prices. So prices, you want to start putting over there. So the system they will give you an automatic price, guys, and I'm going to show you today. And but the decision of the real price is our decision that we have to put in our menu, and this has to be how we think that the menu will move. So how to price the menu in our restaurants is all coming on math and decided, you know, how is this menu mix is gonna work to make you be more competitive and be sure that at the end you want the result that you're needing. So be sure, guys, food cost and portion cost control are two things that you need to put attention to be sure that you have the right price. So ideal, guys, the 30% is gonna be the income. So for the project that we're making in the here today, guys, it will be, your cost it will be 30%. No matter what kind of business you're doing, the ideal cost just for this project, for this exercise, is gonna be 30%. Everybody put your thumbs up that you understand that this is going to be your cost for the project.
And it's already put onto the costing sheet.
Yes.
So you don't have to mess.
That means for every dollar that you're receiving for that, you know, if I have the cost is $1, I have to put $3.35. That will be in theory, isn't it? Every dish. That's going to do the system automatically. But that doesn't mean that's going to be your cost. You have to play with that. So you determine the menu price is a deal. It's a strategy that you have to be sure that you get the best of that and you compete in the market. So guys, before we finish, let me go and jump through the little, I want you to see this video.
All right, and while you're working on that, hey, so I talked to the IT person. He is giving me rights to change the dates. So just give me a few more, give me a little bit, and the permission that you need to get onto that homework and all of that, I will have. We're just going to have to do it maybe next week or until that guy gives me permission to change the dates on it. So just hang in there and I'll let you know when you can do the number 4, you know, whatever, the documents that are not opening. So anyway, just give me a few more days.
So yes, and I also put a ticket on that, Jeff.
Yeah, and I just sent an email to him as well again. And Chef Robin told me to do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, guys, can you see the screen?
Yes, Chef.
What happened? Uh-oh. Give me 1 second, Chef, because this is new computer.
Yeah, no problem, Chef. Take your time.
Can you hear me, Chef?
I can hear you.
Okay. What is this? I think I'm mute.
Mm-mm. Chef,
Can you hear me, guys?
I can hear you. Can
Can
you?
you hear me? Okay. Well, let's try.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear the guy talking, Chef?
No, Chef. And we can't see the video either.
Yeah, I have a problem with the audio.
I think if you go to where it's, where it says mute, right beside where it says mute, if you click on that and you go to where it says select a speaker.
Okay, let me check.
And the speaker for the computer is called ASUS.
Yes. Let's see. So can you see it, Chef?
I can see it. Let's see if I can hear it. No,
no
I
sound.
can't hear it.
Again.
I don't hear it, Chef. I don't know why. Can you hear me, Chef? Lauren, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Well, Chef, do you want me to try seeing if I can do it on my side?
Can you hear me, Chef?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me, Chef?
Yes, Chef, I can hear you.
I have no sound.
Okay, we can hear you.
I completely lost the sound, Chef. I can't hear you anything of you. You have to keep yourself on the until I fix that. Can you? Would you be able to put the screen with the video and try to show everyone until I try to fix this?
Yes. Yes. Give me a second. So y'all can't hear it either?
No, Chef.
Okay.
No, Chef.
All right, thank you guys. All right, Chef, I don't know what's going on. We'll just have to watch it another time until I figure out what's going on.
Can you hear me, Chef?
I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you at all. Okay, now I hear you. You hear me?
All right. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I fix it, Chef.
Yay.
Did you make it? Otherwise, we can watch this tomorrow, Chef. No problem.
Yeah, I can't get my volume working either. I'm gonna have to mess with it.
Okay, so guys, since we have that problem, we're gonna watch this video tomorrow. So let me just do this right now one more time.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
No.
On Monday.
Thank you,
Sorry.
guys. Thank you. So let me just get my recipe code so I can show you that.
Oh, chef.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I think I found share computer sound. I think I know. All right, so when you go to, I think I found it. Hold on.
Okay, but
What they're looking up is exactly what they paid for those
there you are.
tires. And I can't believe how many
Can you hear
restaurant
it?
operators
Yes.
and chefs
Yes,
and
sir.
general managers and
All
owners.
right, I can't, but that's fine.
Hey everybody, Ryan Gromfin here, author, speaker,
Can you
chef,
extend it,
restaurateur,
please?
and the founder of
So we
therestaurantboss.com,
can all
as
wait.
well as restaurantcoachingclub.com. Today we're going to talk about something very
Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, so we can extend the screen so we can see it full screen.
I think it's full screen now.
Okay.
very, very important to your restaurant, food cost.
Is it?
And something I get a lot of
No, but
questions
it's
about,
very
which is
clear.
why do we need to know the food cost in our restaurant, and how do we determine it? So we're going to show
keep it there,
you
Chef.
not only why you need to know food costs, but we're going to also go over all of the food cost formulas and calculations that you need to know in your restaurant for the rest of your life. Basically, food cost determines your profitability. Without knowing how much the items on your menu cost and what your food cost is at the end of your different periods, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to track and run a highly profitable restaurant and know where you need to make adjustments and changes. It kind of creates the baseline for us. Also, I mean, ultimately, really, a lower food cost means higher profit. So it's something you should definitely be tracking on a very consistent basis. It allows you to properly price out your menu items. You know, I always say no one would go into a tire store and buy, or I'm sorry, no one would sell you tires from a tire store unless they knew exactly how much every tire on their shelves costs. When you try to negotiate with the salesperson there, what's the first thing they do? They go back to their computer, they look up a few things. What they're looking up is exactly what they paid for those tires. And I can't believe how many restaurant operators and chefs and general managers and owners don't know exactly in real time how much every menu item on their menu costs them to prepare. That information allows us to optimize your menu. You might have heard the term menu engineering. It's amazing the amount of profits that we could increase in a restaurant by doing nothing but moving things around on a menu and maybe putting a box or bold type or having a server verbalize a certain item on a menu. But we don't want to start doing that. Actually, we can't start doing that until we know exactly how much every item on your menu costs. And then also, food cost is not how much you spend on food. That's another myth or a misconception that I get a lot is, well, isn't food cost just how much I spent on food this month? And no, that is not correct. You will get very false and very varying numbers if that's how you're determining your food cost. So let's get right into this. There's really two types of food costs in your restaurant or bar. The first is plate cost, which is extraordinarily simple to understand, and everyone, without any excuses, should know how much every plate, every drink, every glass of wine, every item in their restaurant costs. And I'm going to show you why, because it's so simple. And then period cost, which is a little more complicated, but you still need to know this in your restaurant. So when we're talking about plate cost, very, very simply, how much did it cost to prepare? How much do you sell it for gives you food costs. So again, how much did it cost to prepare divided by how much do you sell it for gives you the food cost. Let's look at an example here. Let's say that a hamburger costs you $2 to prepare and you sell it for $8. So 2 divided by $8 gives you 0.25. Well, very simply, all we have to do is do 0.25 times 100, which gives us 25%, which in this case would give us a food cost, or you might want to call it a plate cost for that particular hamburger. Now, figuring out how much the hamburger costs, because there's so many different components in there, that's a little more complicated, and we're going to talk about that in a different video, but for the purpose of this video, all you need to know is that the cost to prepare divided by the sales price times 100 gives you the food cost, or the plate cost. But if you want to determine your period food cost, you need to understand something called the cost of goods sold formula. That's the COGS, cost of goods sold. So here's the calculation for your cost of goods sold formula. Beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending inventory gives you usage. That's how much food you used, or beer or wine or whatever you're figuring out, but that's how much you used in that period. And then, like before, now we take the usage divided by sales, which gives us a cost of goods sold, and then we take that and multiply it by 100, which gives us our percentage. So cost of goods sold formula can be used to determine the period costs for any category in your restaurant. Like I said, you could use this for, well, here's some examples right here. You can use it to determine your food cost, your beer costs. We're going to talk about that in a second. Your wine cost, your liquor cost, as well as your merchandise cost. Now, if you notice, I separated out beer bottled and draft, as well as wine bottled and by the glass. That's how I prefer to track. I like to track as very specific data as possible, broken down into as small categories as possible, so then we can really determine if there's a problem, what's going on, or where we need to adjust prices, or where we're having success, or where we need to work a little bit. So these are the categories I recommend that you should be keeping track of in your restaurant. And this is how I recommend that we break them down. Now here's two things you really need to make sure of when we're using the cost of goods sold formula. Make sure you're comparing the correct category purchases and inventory to the correct category sales. So if we're trying to figure out beer cost, we need to make sure that we're using beer purchases, beer inventory, and then beer sales.
I'm asking you to make a donation right now before the official FEC deadline. And if you do, it will be triple.
Not total sales. And then also, you need to make sure that you're comparing the correct inventory and purchases period to the correct sales period. Meaning, if we're, well here, let's look at this example. If we wanted to get a period food cost for March, here's exactly what we need to know. So again, we're talking about March here. So we need to know the March beginning inventory, and then we're going to add that to March purchases, and then we're going to subtract that from the March ending inventory, which will give us March's food usage. Now, people ask me a lot of times, how do we determine beginning inventory? Well, that's very simple. Beginning inventory is the ending inventory of the period before. So for March's beginning inventory, that's just February's ending inventory. So let's look at an example here. If beginning inventory was $5,000 in March and we purchased $24,000 in food, and then we took an ending inventory and we had $4,000 on our shelves, that means we used $25,000 in food. So now going back to that cost of goods sold calculation, we take our 20, which was usage, divided by March's food sales. March's food sales, because remember, food usage divided by food sales gives us 0.25. 0.25 times 100 gives us our 25% food cost. You can see I've got the formula down here at the bottom again for you. Let's just do a quick review. I just want to put this up on the screen for you. You can pause the video if you want to write this down again, but we're going to move on here. And I want to go over the number one question I get asked all the time, almost every day, is what should my food cost be? Well, that's very difficult to answer, and to be completely frank with you, anyone that tells you that your food cost should be between this and this, or this is an industry average, or anything like that, frankly, doesn't have enough information and doesn't really know what they're talking about, because nobody can tell you that you should have this food cost based on your type of restaurant. There's too many other factors that we need to know. And if you're interested in learning more about what those other factors are, and then ultimately a formula on how to determine what your food cost should be based on this other information, please visit my website. That's therestaurantboss.com. When you get to the home page, there's this huge green button that says Get It Now. When you click on that, you're going to be able to download completely for free what I call the foundation for a lifetime of restaurant success. And we're going to go over step by step exactly how to determine the most important number in your restaurant, the number that every restaurant owner should know, the number that will determine your ultimate profitability. And it's a little bit more than just food cost, and it's something that you absolutely need to know. So head on over to therestaurantboss.com, click Get It Now. Please post some questions or comments below this video wherever you're watching it, whether you're watching it on my blog or on YouTube or on someone else's blog. I'd love to hear from you. I respond to every single one of those questions and comments. As well, if you're not watching this on YouTube, or even if you are watching this on YouTube, if you have not subscribed.
So there you are, guys. So when we talk about food cost, is how it's moving, and we calculate it by difference of inventory and sales. And at the end of the month, that's the data that we're gonna share and compare with our costs that we initially we're doing by just putting our menu mix in our our menu mix cost. So that's something that needs to be done. So guys, before we go, I just go again ahead and I'm gonna share this with you. So we have our sheet cost here, guys. So as soon as you get it, guys, from your website, so you are going to be sure that you get in file. And as soon as you get in file, you're gonna make a copy for you. Make a copy. Don't use the original, make a copy. So this is already a copy, that says copy of tasting food. And what you're gonna do here is put your name on the top here. Like me, I put it right now, Chef Pablo, recipe, cost, and this is gonna be your file, so we know that it's yours. So there's a lot of people that are sending us a lot of spreadsheets with no names. So there you are, that's the first thing. As soon as you have that, you add the number of recipes that you needed. The sheet comes with 9 recipes, but if we need more, you can just get to the 9 and you can just put it there and says duplicate. And it will add one more and one more, and you keep adding as many as you need, 10, 12, whatever you need it, 20, you needed 20, that's what you have. And when you start finishing, you go back to your first one and you're gonna start working. So.
Hey, Chef.
Yes, Chef.
Someone asked, can you show an example of adding a row? Can you add a row to
yes,
that?
Of course. So if you have to add a row, so let's go first. You put your name here, the name of the recipe. Let's see, we're doing marinara sauce. Let's go there. And then you're gonna start putting the ingredients here. Isn't it? Like canned tomatoes. And you're gonna put onions. And we're gonna put garlic. And we're gonna put some, let's see. We're gonna put some vegetable stock. Tomato paste. And let's put it, we're gonna put oregano. There you are. So, but you need one more, you're gonna need more lines. So you go to the side and you click where the numbers are, you see here, and you click it and it's gonna mark the whole line, as you can see. You get your cursors on the right side and you hit the right side and it's gonna say what you wanna do. You wanna insert one above or below. It can say one below and automatically it's gonna add one more cell. So you want to extend the cell. So when it says I want just one campus here, so I get this and extend it. See, one campus here. And then I'm gonna say merge. I'm gonna get here and says merge the cell. There you are. I have just one over there. Did you see it, guys?
And I've got a video, and this is videoed, so if you need to, you can always look back on the video.
You want me to do it again?
Someone wrote, yeah, like a whole row with the weight and volume count and the unit. Hey, Haley, do you
Yeah.
wanna?
So let's see. We're gonna have canned tomatoes here. So how do you buy the canned tomatoes? By weight, isn't it? So when I'm gonna go here, it's in weight. Let's see that I'm gonna need on this. I'm gonna need on this 5. And what is the unit? Pounds. Isn't it? Let's put it this way. How will be the cost by pound? Let's see that it cost me 95 cents a pound. So I put 95. There you are. So for 5 pounds, I have 4.74. If I got 2 onions, I buy by weight, not by units, isn't it? So I get 1 onion, and again, I'm gonna get 1 pound. And an onion probably costs 45 cents a pound. And garlic, it says you can buy it by head. If I bought the garlic by head, how much I'm gonna need it here? The same thing. So I'm gonna use 1 head. And a head of garlic cost me, I don't know, $1.45. And then you have vegetable stock. So vegetable stock, what you measure, you cannot measure by weight, isn't it? So it has to be by volume. So I'm gonna need in here 1 quart. And that, let's see, that cost me 90 cents. And tomato paste, it's only my weight. So I'm gonna need, like says, 2 ounces. So the ounce of tomato paste probably is 1.25, put it that way. And then I have oregano. So oregano, I cannot put that tablespoon because I don't buy by tablespoons. Normally these things we buy by ounces. So let's see, I'm gonna need on this 1/3 or 0.30 of an ounce. Let's see that an ounce costs 6.55. There you are. So what happened is the recipe cost me $12.02. But what I'm doing on this, I'm gonna get, so what I'm gonna get is 2 quarts or 3 quarts. So 3 quarts here, it will be one quart is 32 ounces, guys. Okay, there you are. 32 ounces. I have 3 quarters. That's why. So I have 96 ounces. That's what I've done. 96 ounces. So the cost of an ounce is 13 cents. So this will be a soup recipe, isn't it, Chef?
Yes, Chef.
So this will be a soup recipe. So what I'm gonna get here, when this says recipe 1, I hit it on the side and says rename it. Yeah, I get rename it, and I'm gonna get there marinara. So there I know my marinara is here, and I keep going. So I have all these together.
Maya.
So what it says me here is that if I want to sell this at 30%, it should cost me 42 cents every ounce. So when I go to the recipe, I'm gonna say how many ounces need of marinara sauce I need recipe, and I know the cost by portion, by ounce here. It makes sense? So any question, guys?
Maya, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Hold on. Sounded like she was talking
She's
and
mute.
then she.
She's mute, Chef.
Oh.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I was saying, are the numbers just gonna input themselves, or do we have to click something to make them go into the box?
So you have to put the numbers here. You have to find on the master chef, isn't it? On the master list that I give you. So you have to use the cost of the master list, list that I give you. And from that, you're gonna get the cost too, and you're gonna transfer the cost here.
Okay,
So
thank you, Chef.
do I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
So I've got another question. Someone asked, when is all of these costing sheets due? When are they due?
It should be due for today, but if we don't finish, we have to finish on Monday.
Yeah.
Monday will be the due day. So I will suggest you to work on this on your weekend.
I agree.
Because we still have to do, then we have to do the menu and put the prices. Don't you think, Jeff?
Yes.
And that's also a lot of work. So we're gonna have also a lecture on Monday. It's gonna be like this, you know. It's already 11:30 and we haven't started working. So we have to put yourself to work.
And Haley said she had to restart everything. So that's fine. You know, I mean, as long as you
understand properly.
Yeah, it's all good.
That's the exercise.
All right.
Shan, you're okay? Good.
Yep.
Abrin Woodward. Abrin.
Yes, sir.
You good?
Yes, I'm good.
Avery,
just listening.
Okay, Avery Nyson.
Lyric, you went. How do you get serving sizes again? Basically, serving sizes are whatever your recipe calls for.
So the portion size is what you have to put attention, isn't it? So that will be the size of your protein, isn't it? How much ounces of each protein or things like that, or how much ounces of the sauce or things like that are you going to put into every dish? How much is the size of the side, the potatoes or whatever you're going to do it? That's going to affect completely the cost of your recipe.
Chef, if we make a copy of the document, are the formulas already built into the document, or do we have to put in the formulas ourselves?
No, the formulas are already in the document. We do make a copy.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Chef Cliff.
Yes, sir.
I remember at the beginning of the 6th week, I had told you that I might not make it to class on the 25th because I'm supposed to be moving that day.
Yes, sir.
I will make it because apparently they decided to tell me this week I move next Saturday.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. They were, because a couple of days ago I was like, hey, I really would like to know who my roommates are. And they're like, well, you move next week, we'll let you know next Monday. So yesterday I was like, I thought I moved in on the 25th. They go, no, the 19th. And I was like, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I still got pack, so I'm like,
okay.
But I'm letting you know I will be able to make it that day.
Rock and roll. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
And I just got an email about, or a text message about the form. If it gets here, I need to get it to mail to the apartment, but I don't know my apartment number yet. So should I just wait until Monday to fill that out?
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
Okay. Because it's got to change now since I'm moving earlier than planned.
Yeah.
Hey, Richard.
So,
what's up?
Are you going to UVA?
Yeah.
Okay, well, whenever they send you that email with either your roommates, it should have your apartment listed in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wait till Monday. That way I know the apartment number and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Or it'll say it on your lease amendment thing.
Yeah, it didn't say it on my lease. They told me, yeah, they They said it would tell me in my email and everything when I emailed them.
Okay. Chef.
All right, hold on one second. Maya, your question was on the, if there's no ingredient or if you don't have something on the list, well, you just need to go look it up on H-E-B or Walmart or something like that. If you can't find it on the list that we gave you, just put it on, just find a cost sheet or just find a cost for it online somewhere. Yes, who asked me or who was asking?
All right, I have a question on the menu analysis. I guess essay assignment, when is that going to be due? Is that going to be due today?
No, that's going to be next week.
Okay.
Yeah, that's next week.
That's put the prices of the menu and design and organize our menu is going to be next week. Joseph, cost me there. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Joseph make guys his work on the recipes. It's excellent work, Joseph. So the only thing that I will ask you is that put on the bottom of each sheet the name of the recipe, please.
Yes, Chef.
Very good job. You really understand well. So you should start organizing your working on your menu, guys. So let me put this. I'm gonna put it on the chat. The websites that you can use to one is musthavemenus.com. Musthavemenus.com.
Yeah, musthavemenus.
.com, and the other is canva.com.
Can you put those on the chat?
All these places you can check, guys, and these are for free. And you can design your own menus to work on that. So Joseph, you can start working on that and start working on the design of your menus. And with the idea that you have over there, you have high prices on. You should check, what is the real price that you want to put in each one of your items.
Yeah.
To be sure that it's competitive, okay?
All right.
Good job.
Thank you.
Jeff, where do I find the costing sheet? I'm sorry, I've been looking for it on like the dashboard and stuff, but I can't
on the
find
dashboard. You want me to show you?
Yes, Chef. Why don't you go ahead and show them again?
Thank you.
You see the dashboard?
Yes,
you
Chef,
see it?
we can see it.
At the very top of the dashboard says costing sheets for CE 135 project.
Thank you, Chef.
When you click there, make a copy.
Hey, Chef.
Yes, Haley.
For the costing sheet, if we're doing like cocktail sauce and whatnot, do we do that as a separate recipe?
Yes.
Or costing sheet?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chef.
It's a soup recipe, remember, isn't it?
Cocktail sauce?
Yes, it will be a soup recipe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Good question. So now, guys, put yourself to work.
All right.
That's the next step. And you can come back at 1:30. or you can start sending me your work. Maya, you're gonna work with Cliff?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on her stuff right now. Trinity, are you there? Looks like, does she? Yeah, Trinity, you're still there. So yeah, that Bank Mobile helps you with your the stipends that they give you, if that's what you're asking about the Bank Mobile.
I had got that email too, Chef, and I was wondering about it. I tried to download the app, and it was telling me to get a code, but then it said something went wrong.
Yeah, I would try it again, because that's your that's the your stipend for your groceries and all of that sort of stuff that you're going to be getting for your you know, like when you're on campus cooking.
Thank you, Chef.
Mm-hmm. Chef, do you want to step away for a little bit? You can step away, take a break.
Thank you, Chef. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you, Chef.
All right, hey guys. Hey, guys, I'm going to be working on trying to get because when I was playing that video, I couldn't hear the video. So I'm going to be kind of playing with just putting a video on and trying to play around with it. So just to let you know, all right? So I'm going to just be kind of playing around trying to get this fixed. Thanks, guys. Cool.
That's not by accident. That's a design technique.
Yeah, let me just go ahead. Yeah, sit down and if you can get comfy. You good? All right.
Yeah.
Take one, marker. Do you want to just start by introducing yourself?
Hello, world. Bailey, take 3.
You good?
This is the worst part, man. I don't like this.
I worked at Facebook in 2011 and 2012.
I was one of the really early employees at Instagram.
And then it became head of consumer product.
Can y'all hear the
of Google Drive,
sound?
Gmail chat, Facebook Pages, and the Facebook like button.
Yeah, this is why I spent like 8 months talking back and forth with like lawyers. It's pretty.
All right.
Slow.
I just can't hear it.
When I was there, I always felt like fundamentally it was a force for good.
I don't know if I feel that way anymore.
I left Google in June 2017 due to ethical concerns, and not just.
Than how you expected. Nobody.
Can y'all hear it now?
I have a question, Chef. For some of
Someone have a question?
Dad's Bella, I have a question. Can you hear me?
No. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, Chef.
Oh, Bella, what's up?
Okay, I have a question. On the costing sheets, some of them just have like
I
blanks.
cannot hear you,
Okay, let me type my question then.
Bella. If you want to type it in the chat, Bella, you can. I can't hear you right now. You want to try again, Bella? Try to talk to me. See if it'll work now.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So for some of the ingredients on the costing sheet, the units just have like, it says unit and it's like hashtags. And so I don't know how to like convert like ounces into like, I don't know what.
Oh, pound?
Oh, that makes so much more sense. Thank you.
No worries.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Hey, yo, Chef. Oh, shit, I can't hear you. It says you're muted.
Hey, what's up, Larry? Sorry.
Okay. So I'm still doing, I guess, the menu, and I'm doing a mixture of the menu and the costing at the same time. I still don't completely understand the conversion from cups to like ounces. I mean, I guess I do, because I guess you divide it or something like that.
All right.
I'm not really too sure.
Okay. You want cups to ounces? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, I guess I got cups to ounces. I think it's like, let me see.
Let me see. I had a conversion sheet at one point. Let me look. Hold on one second. Let me. Oh, you know what? It was on my old computer. Let me get on to. my drive real quick, and I'll see if I have a good conversion sheet for you. Okay.
Thanks, Chef.
Give me 1 second. Kind of like what do you want, like what he had with the cups and ounces and all of that? Hold on, let me pull up.
Chef Cliff, can you,
Yep.
we're gonna have to put the pinch of kosher salt on there also, correct, to get the price of that stuff too. And it's 1/16 of a teaspoon.
An ounce.
An ounce. Okay, thank you.
And Larrick, I'm still working on it. I'm trying to find you a good conversion sheet. Hey, Larrick.
Yes, Chef.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen real quick. Hold on.
Copy.
So let me move this and this. So like here is like are you looking for like a good converting? Like here's cups. You know, if you want to, is this what you're looking for? Like like a good converting from metrics to like what are you trying to? I guess you're just needing what? How many ounces are in a cup? Is that what you're looking for?
Sort of. The conversion thing, yeah, I'm looking for one of those, but I'm also looking because so I saw that so some of my recipes go by the metric system and they're like they already come in grams and stuff like that. However,
Gotcha.
some of them are like cups and stuff like that. So I was wondering that how do you go from cups to ounces, or do you just like break it up?
Gotcha. What I would do is I would just get onto one of these websites and that converts from cups to like grams to cups and cups to that's what I would do. I would just get on one of those websites that will, you type in how many cups are, how many ounces you need, and you can change it to metric or whatever else.
Okay, that's cool.
I mean, that's what I would do, but maybe I'm not understanding the question as well, or if I'm not, maybe hopefully I'm understanding the question. You just want to know. So I would just go to one of those websites where you could converting. I would say converting a recipe. Type in recipe converting measurements, and that should find you a good website to use.
Okay, thank you, Chef.
If not, I will. If you still having problems, I'm going to try to find something for you.
All right, thank you,
Chef. You just type in Google like how many ounces are in a cup. It gives you like a pretty basic thing where you can just type it in and it will convert almost any measurement for you.
Yeah.
Chef Cliff?
Yep.
So if we don't see the item that we need the price for on the list, we go to like Walmart?
Just get on some H-E-B, Walmart, Randall's,
Okay,
or it doesn't matter. Just, I would just search up, that item and just the cost. It is what it is.
Okay, thank you.
So you can just find it.
Hey, Chef, could you possibly check to see if I'm doing the costing sheet right?
Could you say that one more time? You broke up.
Be able to see if I'm doing the costing sheet right?
Yeah, let me look. Have you?
Because I just deleted everything that I did last night, and I'm restarting everything.
Okay.
So I've only gotten the cocktail sauce portion done.
Have you emailed it to us?
I shared it to y'all.
Oh, shared it. Okay. Let me just search on my email. Costing sheet?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I might have did that wrong.
The cocktail sauce?
Yes, sir. Or yes, Chef.
Yeah. I mean, I answered anything. If you would probably say
so what I'm trying to figure out is like how horseradish costs $8.45, I think, a pound. and I'm doing it in ounces, do I need to put in pounds there or?
No. So you need, so hold on, let me see. Horseradish. Yeah, because you're, let me see.
I just don't know where I need to like change it and whatnot. And do
No,
I
you're
need to like?
fine. No, I think what you need to find is, so.
Yeah, I wrote down all of the stuff ahead of time before I did it online.
Yeah. Hey, Chef.
Chef.
Do you want to look at Haley's project and see if you're okay with that?
Yes, Chef. No problem.
It's she's got a cocktail sauce.
The only one I'm confused about is just the horseradish.
Yeah.
It says it's the $8.45 for a pound, but I'm doing everything in ounces per recipe and whatnot.
So, which recipe number is that one?
The second one.
Second one, okay.
Yeah, I had everything down on the list.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds very reasonable. 33 cents for an ounce.
Okay.
It's very reasonable.
So $2.79 is good for 0.33 of an ounce.
So.
Because on the paper.
Okay. $8.45 for an ounce is too much.
It's $8.45 for a pound, but I'm doing everything in ounces.
Yeah, so you have to divide $8.45 divided by 16 because a pound has 16 ounces.
Okay.
So do it.
Okay, thank you.
Do it right now. Do it right now.
I'm trying to find it.
So that will be
0.52.
0.52.
So that will be there, 0.52. That's there.
Ah.
You see?
So the price is going to be just 52 cents.
There you are.
Okay.
So
17 cents.
The whole rice will be 17 cents for that piece.
That makes a lot more sense.
The cocktail. So you start here for weight, isn't it? So you have here ketchup. You have an ounce. You have less than an ounce. So you have one portion. One serving is $1.58. The cost.
That's cheap.
No, that's not cheap.
Oh, that's not?
No.
Oh.
So because Worcester sauce is very, very expensive right now.
Yeah.
So I think a $4.61 an ounce is very expensive.
That's for, I think I had to look that up because on the sheet it didn't say the price. I have it written.
Use the same price for the horseradish.
That price for 5 ounces.
So use the same price of the horseradish, 0.52.
Okay.
Change it, please.
Find it. Okay.
There you are. That has more sense.
Okay.
So the total recipe is it's 93 cents for a yes. Yeah, that has more sense.
Chef, I'm going to step away for a few minutes.
Yes, Chef, don't worry.
So is that good how it is now?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Thank you,
that
Chef.
sounds better. So now you can use it as an ingredient, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that will be one portion, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Chef.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there was a discussion at one time to use everything to thumb drive because everyone had to pay for all the extra storage on Dropbox, whereas one drive is done by So, and Grayson, Florida was working on a plan for that, but we probably could only do Dropbox.
Chef,
Yes?
I have a question.
Yes, Darren.
Okay, so in my recipe, it calls for 1 teaspoon of salt.
Mm-hmm.
How do you calculate that? Because like it will be like you buy like a pound of salt.
Yes.
So I'm not
So,
sure.
A pound of salt costs, a pound of regular salt costs around 75 cents.
Okay. And so then you just divide
So
that.
you can divide it by 16. You have the price by ounce.
Oh, okay.
So let me check right now. How much I tell you? 75 cents? How much I tell you? A pound?
Yeah, 75 cents.
75 cents divided by 16. It's 4 cents, 4 cents the ounce.
Hey, Chef.
Yes, Katon.
I don't have the costing recipe sheet thing.
The costing recipe?
Yeah, the Google Sheets that like automatically cost the recipe. I don't have that.
You have to get to your portal.
What?
Open it and it says costing sheets for CA 135 project. That's where you find it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Make a copy, no?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay.
Chef Pablo. I'm. What does the blue column on the costing sheet represent? I can't hear you.
Just let me check, okay?
Okay, thank you.
As purchased.
The cash
AP is as purchased.
Okay, as
price, the price of the as purchased.
Okay, so how much I paid for it?
Yeah.
And then the.
That will be the price that is in the master sheet.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
No.
You there, Chef?
Chef, can we talk in private?
Yeah. I don't know how to do the.
You want me to call you?
Yeah, just call me.
Okay.
Hmm.